This is going to be a three-part series on Chinese science fiction, so please stick around for two more parts after this one. When I first began learning Chinese, I was really keen to talk about my interests. So one of the first words I had the first of my many Chinese language partners teach me was science fiction, or 科幻. I was eager to find out what kind of sci-fi people in the Chinese-speaking world were into, and who were the big names in Chinese or Taiwanese sci-fi. But when I asked the first few people what their favorite 科幻 books or films were, I got answers like Harry Potter, which suggests that while 科幻 denotes sci-fi, it's also a catch-all that encompasses fantasy too. Another person said Transformers. Definitely not the droids I was looking for. No one could give me the name of a Chinese science fiction author. It seemed to me like being into the hard stuff was even more fringe than it was in America. Later on, while doing some internet sleuthing, I found out that, of course, China does have a tradition of science fiction that goes back at least to the beginning of the 20th century, with Wu Jianren's The New Stone being a strong candidate for the first Chinese science fiction novel. If the word steampunk can apply to something that was actually written at the close of the Victorian Age, then The New Stone is a steampunk sequel to the 18th century Chinese masterwork Dream of the Red Chamber, or The Story of the Stone. For even the most casual cinephile, Dream of the Red Chamber is a book that needs no introduction. But in case you are unfamiliar, you just need to know that it is a work of profound significance that takes place mostly within the walls of the wealthy manor of the wealthy Jia family and touches on almost every single aspect of the world its author grew up in. At the end of the novel, the main protagonist, Bao Yu, has become so disillusioned with our existence that he forsakes reality itself and resumes his original not quite existence as a sentient stone. Hence the title, The Story of the Stone. In the sequel, The New Stone, Bao Yu decides to give this existence thing another shot. And this time, instead of being disillusioned, he's quite taken with the marvels of modern technology and spends his time zooming around in various Jules Vernean contraptions. I will most likely never read The New Stone. My Chinese is not up to the task of the original, and it has never been translated into English. But that puts me in the company of most Chinese people, because the book is pretty obscure. I've never met anyone who's read it. It wasn't until I was wrapping up my 4-year Asian Odyssey that I finally became acquainted with the celebrated master of Chinese science fiction. I happened to be walking through the campus of Beijing Forestry University one day when all the student clubs and organizations were recruiting. As luck would have it, they had a sci-fi club, and its members preached the gospel of one Liu Cixin, who wrote what is commonly known as the Three-Body series, which I devoured as soon as it was translated into English. This is the second book in the series. It's called The Dark Forest, and I will be reading from it in just a little bit. The Three-Body series is basically Independence Day with brains. Galaxy-sized brains. In Three-Body, Liu Cixin does some serious speculation about how humankind would react to an impending alien invasion. One way Liu distinguishes himself from the Hollywood movies that have tread this familiar ground is that he refutes the inane and oft-repeated trope that an extraterrestrial threat would somehow instantly unite humanity. One only has to look at history to see his point. What foreign invader hasn't made use of local rivalries, looking to settle their scores? Cortez used the Tlaxcalans against the Aztecs. We Anglo-Americans have used pretty much everybody against everybody else. The Trisolarans, the three-body aliens, are no different and quickly find human sympathizers that do their bidding while other groups fight about how to best deal with the Trisolaran threat. But ultimately, humanity does unite. And at that point, Liu turns his speculation on the awesomeness of alien technology and just how horrifying it would be to confront it. The smoothest surface that human technology could produce revealed itself as rough at just 1,000 times magnification, like Gulliver's impression of the face of the beautiful giantess. Adjust to 100,000 times, the lieutenant colonel said. Still they saw a smooth mirror. 1,000,000 times, a smooth mirror. 10 million times. Macromolecules would be visible at this magnification, but what they saw on the screen remained a smooth mirror without the slightest sign of roughness, no difference in smoothness from the surrounding unmagnified surface. Push it up again. Shidze shook her head. This was the electron microscope's highest level of magnification. More than 2 centuries before, in his novel 2001: A Space Odyssey, Arthur C. Clarke had described a black monolith left on the moon by an advanced alien civilization. Surveyors had measured its dimensions with ordinary rulers and had found a ratio of 1:4:9. When these were rechecked using the most high-precision measurement technology on Earth, the ratio remained an exact 1:4:9, with no error at all. Clarke described it as a passive, yet almost arrogant display of geometrical perfection. Now humanity was facing a far more arrogant display of power. There are characters in the three-body series, yes. Some of them memorable, some not so much. But the main character in the series is science. It is hard not to be overwhelmed by the power of Liu's imagination. When one book ends, you think the next book will be simply wrapping up loose ends, but no. Liu introduces another far-out concept that widens the scope even further until we find ourselves at, well, I won't spoil it for you. The writing, or I should probably say Ken Liu's translation, is excellent as well. It at times reminded me of Neil Stephenson, had Neil Stephenson's editor told him to tone it down a bit. That's Three Body. It's supposed to be made into a movie someday. It's been in production for years and the release date keeps getting pushed back. I do hope they make it. It would be nice if another country to enter the game of making huge sci-fi blockbusters. But actually, now that I think of it, it would probably be better as a Netflix series. So come on, China, get in on the Netflix game. Three Body would be awesome to watch as a miniseries. Up next, in part 2, I talk about a very different sci-fi novel by a Taiwanese author. So stick around.